Hey, what's happening, everybody? My name is Harrison. Welcome to the second episode of the RecyclerView Android tutorial. This is my tutorial series on how to get these recycler views up and running on your Android application. Last time when we left off, we were just kind of putting together everything. We were just inside the activity folder. Again, I believe before I deleted this, we had the action bar up here. Where is it? Yeah, we had this action bar activity that's deprecated. Again, we're not using an action bar. The action bar is the top thing at the very top of your Android app, where you kind of like click the settings, or maybe it'll have the title of your application. We're not using it, so let's not worry about it. Then there's plenty of other tutorials that'll go over the action bar. But right now we just want the activity. So we need to import what we need to import so we can branch off this activity class. For me, it's Alt-Enter. For Mac, I believe it's just Command-Enter. Sweet. And now let's jump into the layout files where we design how our app's gonna look. Again, we're going with a very basic design, nothing crazy, nothing special. But let's jump in there. Where do we go? Yeah. All right. So from source. So under source, we're in main. Again, this Java folder will hold all of our classes, the main functionality for our app. Under resources, there's Java layout. There's all these. We want to go inside layout for right now. Inside activity main. I already have mine open, I guess. Yeah, it kind of opens as soon as you open the app, but I'll close out of everything else. And here we are. Let's start designing just from the outside, or from the drag and drop menu. From this scene right here. Hello world, we do not need that anymore, but thank you. Right now we're on the design tab. Let me check the text tab just to see if there's anything in here we don't want. Relative layout's fine. There's relative layout, linear layout, and frame layout. Relative layout is what we want because we're putting things kind of above one another, side by side. Again, relative layout allows you to be more creative on where you put your objects, whether it's buttons or text or input options. A linear layout, however, is just straight linear, kind of like a list. It'll be just just one after another after another after another, which is great. Like if you're doing a lot of cards, or kind of what we're doing with lists. But again, we're making our lists through a recycler view. So again, not necessarily, we don't need like a linear layout for that. But right now, what we want, relative layout, awesome. Let's go back to design. And let's just start with some text. Let's plain text view. Let's get that up here. Center it. Can we stretch it out? Yeah, we can. No, we can't. Cool. We'll center the text later. Well, let's do it right now. So now you saw that we dragged in that text view, and then this popped up right here. This is where we're gonna edit the text view. Again, this is all in XML. They're just like kind of standard Android calls that you make, and that's kind of how you edit what you want. Right here, I just jumped into the Android ID. Let's delete this because this is what we're calling it. This is going to be what we call it. This text view. This text view being the text that appears on our UI. I just want to call it title. That's all. Nothing simple. Nothing crazy. Just title. And then we'll be calling that because we'll put like a button under it or something, and we'll do that. Text, Android text. Let's call it my recycler list. Cool. That should pop up right there. Layout width, layout height. These two attributes, it's very common to put wrap content or match parent. Matching parent means that it's going to match the parent length of the screen. Wrapping content, I believe, means that it'll only go as far as like you type. So since it's a text view, if we type past the screen, I believe it'll wrap it and put it under us or under that line. Actually, let's just test it out. It should put it under it, right? See? So we just tapped a bunch and then it just put it under. So it's just wrapping it for us. Very similar like in Excel or whatever. Yeah, you guys know. And I think another one we'll put match parent. You'll see how it just matches the height of the of the thing that's nested under, because you see that this text view is nested under the relative layout. The relative layout is going to hold everything, and then everything will again be inside that layout. Can we text center this? Can we do the do we center this or do we center it later? Yeah, let's do, since we're already talking about the layout, let's do the Android layout horizontal, center horizontal. There we go. Showed it for us, and I believe we just put true, and that did nothing for us. That is what I like. That's my favorite. Where did I screw up? Center horizontal. Maybe we gotta align the parent to the top. That's true as well. Android text appearance. We'll go Android. No, let's just, what am I doing? Android text size. There we go. And let's just go like 18 and see what happens. DP. Cool DP. And why the flippin' heck did it not center our text? Oh, you know what? I don't think it started. It didn't center because we have all this stuff down here. Again, they can't read my mind, so they added it after I added that text there. So what are they saying? They're saying align it to the top of the parent, which is the relative layout, which is just top up here. Align it to the left, which is kind of overriding my horizontal, I believe. My horizontal attribute. Align to the parent star. Again, it's just like forcing it in the left-hand side, which is cool. There's, you know, nothing wrong with that. Let's just get rid of all those and see what happens. So we got rid of all those, deleted them, and now it's in the center. Awesome, cool. I'll take it. And now I believe I just want the recycler view. So let's do less than symbol. And now again, a lot of these times, like, let's go back to the design and just start putting stuff. And you'll see, oh, I had to do something earlier. Let's drag in a button right here. Let's drag in just a checkbox or something. Let's drag in a switch. Again, you don't have to do this. I'm just showing it for an example. Let's go back to text. So you see how, okay, switch. Of course, that's pointing to the switch that we put in. The checkbox, that's pointing where we can edit the checkbox that we put in. And again, this is just for layout. Button we layout. So you can see that these calls are very simple. Button, text view, checkbox, switch. That all makes sense. But the RecyclerView gets a little bit more specific because it's not like a typical thing that people use. So let's go ahead and type it in. I'll go over why we had to do this dependency earlier. Android.support.v7.widget.recyclerView. And we want to end it. Cool. Again, we might have these errors on the right hand side. Right now, just ignore them. They're all great. Like, they're definitely telling you some things here and there. They're not like app breaking though. It might be like, you know, it's not gonna run on the minimum SDK that you specified or something. Maybe it'll break earlier. But right now, again, what we're doing is kind of light. It should work on just about all devices. So it's not, you know, this isn't crucial. Wrap content. Okay, I think we're okay with let's build the project for sure. So we're building it because, again, we synced the Gradle earlier. That's where we're calling this RecyclerView dependency. But now let's build it, and let's see all the flippin' errors that we get. God damn it. All right, let's jeez. Let's get out of that and God. No, I think we're cool. Let's just see how badly I can screw this up. Let's go ahead and set up our RecyclerView Android layout with be fill parent. Again, we're filling up the relative layout. The relative layout that this is nested under. Android layout height. Oh, this is equals. Equals fill parent again, right? Yeah. This is going again. We're filling up, but we're gonna put it under the text. So let's just go fill parent still. Oh, geez. And let's call it something. So this is how you call your attribute on your UI. You're gonna go ID equals parentheses at plus ID slash RecyclerView, and that's what we want to call it. That's awesome. Let me save this. I'm gonna save it and see if I can figure out what the problem is. Alright, so I've had this problem before. Where is it? Can we build a path? That's okay, right? So I think it's coming in fine. Go to design. I want to pull it beneath the text. Okay. So I think we're fine. I think there was a problem before, but I think after we built it, something happened, and I think we're all right. I'm gonna make the title a little bit bigger just so it stands out. 24. Okay, yeah, that's cool. Okay, let's continue filling out the recycler view. Again, this is all just design, so not really functionality yet. This is just all design. Android layout parent start, layout parent left. Sure, let's just do that. I wish they would autofill, but whatever. We'll be alright. Android back. I think they give you a default gray background. I'm going to change that to white. I think white is 6 Fs, but I think 3 Fs is fine, so we're good. And then I think we're good. So you can see how we put it under the title, and that's how we called the title from up here, right? So I think we're good with that. So this will be our main activity. Let's go ahead and create how each cell will look, or each row. So I'm clicking on layout. We're going to do new layout resource file. Let's call this list row. Linear layout. We might change that to relative. No, let's go relative just right now. So relative layout, because we're going to be putting like a picture on the left side, you know, text on the right side, something below. So we need the relative layout. A relative layout, I believe, is usually heavier than a linear layout. So I believe, you know, it's always good to, you know, minimize and optimize your code. But again, we're not doing anything too fancy. Relative layout, that's fine. Did we get nothing for it? Sweet. So what are we looking at here? I usually like these stacked. Let's get that down there. How am I going to screw this up now? Yeah, it's just going to be a lot of text views, but that's cool though. Let's just go ahead and design it. Right now, temporarily, let's just throw in our image view. Again, we're going to change this to something different later, but let me just throw it in there. Just like that. I want it to just be 0 on 0. That is exactly what I want. Go to the text image view. Where do I change the size at? Do I just go width or something? Oh, I mean, so yeah, so it's wrapping content, right? So all pictures are different sizes, so it's basically just wants to show the right image size. But right now, let's go 80 dp, I believe. That's fine, right? And then 80 dp. And so we have it right here, which is cool. So that will probably determine how big our rows are. So you know, 80 dp, 80 dp, because then we'll put the title right here, the author, the subreddit, etc. Because again, we're going to be pulling Reddit JSON data. Now we're going to be pulling JSON data from Reddit's open API. So we'll be putting the title of the article up here, the subreddit, and I believe the author over here. So let's go back into design. Let's grab the text view, put it up here. That's a good place to nest it. Then we want to get another one, put it right here. Again, it's reading from that, so it wants to be at the bottom there. Then let's put another one over on the right hand side. And I think that's pretty cool. So get text back in the text view, text. Should I call this title? What do I call it over here? Let's just call it article title. I was only thinking because, again, the title, we called our other ID title, that was the title of our app. And you know what, let's change that actually. I think we might be able to, no, whatever, that's fine. Again, article title, cool. And the one right below it, let's call that subreddit, so it'll pull up like the funny or or food or whatever the subreddit is. We'll just pull that from JSON. This one, let's make it the author. And then we also have to make one for the URL. Now this URL that I put in, it might be kind of a hack. I'm not sure how else to do it, but it works. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna add in another plain text view. Put it right there, that's cool. Go back into the text. The width will be, what am I going to do? Let's just leave everything at wrap content. We'll call it URL. Or not call URL, but yeah, call this URL right here. What we're going to do is we don't want it to show up, right? You know what I'm saying? So in this row, you don't want to see the URL. You just want to click the row so you go to the URL, whether it's like an Imgur or a news article or wherever they want to, wherever they're showcasing the content. You want to just go straight there. So what we're going to do, max lines. We're going to go max lines equals 0. So it basically does not have a place on the row to go. Right, so I was looking at something else, my bad. Yeah, so it doesn't have any place to go. So it's not basically taking up any lines. So basically it's just hidden from the view. But we need it because we're going to assign this field to each row, because we're going to then pull it and then shoot to a web activity. And I noticed up above that I was just changing the text here, but not changing the ID. So let's go ahead and change this ID to author. That's cool. Text view subreddit. Let's go ahead and change that to the subreddit. And again, this is just placeholder text. Title. This is placeholding text because we're going to overwrite the titles and the subreddits and the author's name whenever we pull the JSON data. So you saw Arthur just jumped over here because I changed the ID. Let me redesign it. And boom. That should get rid of the error, right? Yeah, no more error. Then it's kind of reading that. A title, real quick. We'll make it bigger. Well, can we bold it right now? Can we go Android text style? I believe text style. Let's make it bold. Cool. Android text size. Since it's the title, we can make it a little bigger. What do you want to do? 18? 18 should be alright, right? Yeah, that's fine. Also, Android max lines. So we don't want it to go any further than 2, or at least for the purpose of this, just so it gives a clean look. That's all. But if you want 3 or 4, if you want these to be huge cards, we can go over that later. But right now, 2 lines is fine. So let's keep it at that. That is solid for this. So let's go back up to image view. So right now it was just a placeholder, but what we want to do is actually pull it a network, call it a network image view. So image view is great if you have the image inside the application, but what we want is a network image view. Is that instead of image view, we want the network image view, which is that converting that URL to an image. So how do we do that? Let's go com.android.volley.toolbar. That already got it for us. Network image. Sweet. And again, so this network image view, along with this widget recycler view, that that look completely different, that we're pulling them directly from the V7 widget support. That was the meaning for going into the Gradle earlier and adding these dependencies. Adding this recycler view here, the support here. This is what allows us to make those calls and really use those tools. So that was the reason for setting that up earlier. But let's go back into the network image view. I think we're pretty good here. We are gonna fit it to how do we do fit to size? I think size, right? What do we want to call it? We want to call it scale type. Android scale type, and we want to do fit XY. So it always fills up the square right here, the 80 by 80. Again, you can say like center or maybe fit X or just center it or whatever, but fitting it to the X and Y, that's kind of how I like it, and it should work out for most. You'll have some images that are stretched, maybe some that look wrong, but really it'll be fine, and it'll give the application a cleaner look. What else do we want to do? I think that's it for now. I think we're alright. I think we kind of set up the layout so you can kind of see that this is how each list or each row will look, and this will contain each row in the list. So you kind of separate them into different activities, but that's how it'll create the recycler view. I think there's something else we want to do in the recycler view. I think I hard code it pretty hard. Anyways, whatever else we can figure it out later. Right now, it's a good starting point to have our recycler view up and running. So I'll see you in the next video.